By 1970, the war in Vietnam had become extremely unpopular in America. 16 years had gone by, 16 years of American casualties and little visible progress. However, on April 30th, President Nixon announced that the U.S. would begin bombing Cambodia, a neighbor of Vietnam. The Viet Cong was smuggling weapons into North Vietnam through Cambodia. Many Americans saw this decision as an extension of the war effort and disapproved of bombing a neutral country. This prompted protests on college campuses around the country, but none with consequences as great as Kent State. The following day, May 1st, students at Kent State University in Ohio flooded downtown bars. They crowded into an intersection at North Water Street, dancing and causing a commotion in the street. A driver became angry. Some students jumped onto his car and then smashed in its windows, yelling anti-war slogans. Fellow students began to systematically smash shop windows on the street, while others set fire in trash cans. Overwhelmed by the riot, police had to use tear gas to force the students back to campus. On May 2nd, disgruntled black students joined forces with the anti-war protesters, demanding greater enrollment for African Americans at the college. These and the Vietnam protesting students organized a rally at the Commons. More than 800 students gathered as the protesters set fire to the building that housed the ROTC. Firefighters arrived quickly to stop the blaze. Students threw rocks at the men and tried to chop through the fire hoses with shovels and axes. Police entered the campus and again resorted to tear gas to force the students to settle down, but were unable to disband the rioters. The mayor of Kent requested aid from the governor of Ohio, James Rhodes. The governor sent 500 National Guardsmen to campus, who, armed with heavy artillery, were able to end the violence of May 2nd. The governor arrived in Kent the next day, May 3rd, with additional guardsmen, and declared a state of emergency and demanded there would be no more protests at Kent State. That night, however, 500 students participated in a sit-in at a downtown intersection. National Guardsmen, of whom there were now about 900 in Kent, intervened. The students threw rocks and taunted the guardsmen. 150 students were arrested that night. On May 4th, it seemed life at Kent would resume normally. Students attended morning classes and strolled about campus. But at noon that day, a student rang the victory bell, prompting more than 2,000 students to gather at the Commons. Some came to test the ban on demonstrations, while others settled down to watch what would unfold. The National Guard was posted near the ROTC building. Officers approached, demanding that the students disband. The students began to shout insults and anti-war jeers, calling the men pigs and saying, "We don't want your war." The officers donned gas masks and advanced on the students. They launched tear gas into the crowd, causing many to panic and begin running. Some defiant students picked up the tear gas canisters and hurled them back toward the guardsmen. Eventually, the guards ran out. Devoid of the tear gas that had been their essential weapon, the guards began to back up the hill. Students at the base hurled rocks at the guardsmen. Some men kneeled, nervous, and prepared to fire. Suddenly, shots rang out. Students screamed, running from the Commons. Some 54 shots were fired in 29 seconds, and, when the dust cleared, 4 students lay dead and 9 were injured.